We're a nonprofit organization dedicated to eradicating human slavery, human trafficking, child exploitation, and child sexual abuse material through disrupting networks and applying data technology and advanced analytics and intelligence.
Hello, welcome to ATII's second annual Follow Money, Fight Slavery Summit. My name is Dr. Sharon Kaler, and I'm the Director of Mental Health and Survivor Relations here at ATII. I also happen to have the pleasure of introducing our keynote speaker today, Ms. Rani, a woman who has risen from adversity to become a leader in the fight against human trafficking. Liberated from the slave trade in her native country, India, at the age of 8, she has dedicated her life to combating the horror and injustice of human trafficking through the work of her organizations, Rani's Voice and the Freedom Seal, which brings recognition to companies who stand against slavery. She's a compassionate and unwavering activist for freedom from slavery and human trafficking, advocating through a broad spectrum of influencers, ranging from the UN General Assembly to the Vatican in Rome to the Oprah Winfrey Show and CNN. Her innovative solutions include establishing the first ever World Day Against Trafficking in Persons and helping Washington State become the first in the nation to pass anti-trafficking legislation. And as another of her many accomplishments, Ms. Hong has previously been recognized as India's Woman of the Year for her tireless efforts to fight human trafficking. Her resilience in transforming hardship into advocacy on an international level is an inspiration. Please welcome Ms. Rani Hong.
Hi, thank you, Sharon, for this kind introduction, and thank you to ATII for hosting this event about following the money to fight financial crime and to fight human trafficking. My name is Rani, and I was born in southern India, and at the age of 7, I was sold into slavery. I was sold across the state border, where I did not know the language. It was unfamiliar to me. I was scared and alone. And I was crying for my mother, and she didn't come. You see, the traffickers had stolen me from my mother and used me as a commodity. We're talking about buying and selling children for a profit. And the traffickers, all they saw really was the money, the profit that they were making off of me. You see, my situation became so destitute and that they put me as destitute and dying, and that I was no value. But they had to get rid of me. And so I deteriorated, and so then they sold me for one more profit, and they sold me for international adoption from India through Canada into the United States, where I currently live near Seattle, Washington. So I tell you my story because there are millions of little girls like the little girl I was, imprisoned, silenced, and unable to speak. And today, it's important that we listen to this issue. I know it's a hard subject. It's not something easy to listen to. But when you hear the story of a 7-year-old girl and what happened to myself, you would stop and think, what if this happened to your child? And we as parents, we never would want this to happen. And that would be our biggest nightmare, right? But today, you're here because you want to make a difference. And so I thank you for the financial institutions and all those, law enforcement, the NGOs that are here today to be able to listen. And my goal is to inspire you to take action, right? I tell you my story, but I'm more than my story. I'm part of the solution. And so today we had to think out what is it that we can do to move forward on fighting this crime. So it's in 2006 or so, my husband and I started our foundation. You see, he was also recruited. He was recruited as a child soldier, sold into slavery. And so we created the foundation because we wanted to make a change in the millions of lives of little children. And so today I look forward to being able to speak with you and to be able to share and educate in the purpose of that we can make a difference. And so through our foundation, we have been working on this issue now for over 20 years. And in the early days, I remember when the general the general public did not know what to do. They didn't know how to listen to a story like this. And for most of it, they didn't even think it was real, right? We're talking about a $150 billion industry. We're talking about children being bought and sold across borders. Not all at all times do they have to be taken from place to place or transportation, but often we see force and coercion in taking place when a person is trafficked. And so we think about a lot of today's world, the migration from the Ukraine going to these different countries, and the traffickers are there to prey on the innocent. And so we look at, as a nonprofit and as a foundation, what is it that we could do to educate the world on this? And so through our foundation, we're able to do many things. But one of the things is really providing empowerment programs. And I would like to take a shout out to Jennifer, who's really hosted and helped a lot with this event. But she has started an empowerment program, right? For her world, for the products that were made, the bags that she has made. So anyways, I want to encourage you to look at these solutions by survivor-led organizations and people, and really help to be able to change the world and through economic ways. And so I'm just very proud that Jennifer has been able to move forward and being able to do this. So today, why are we here? I mean, we're talking financial institutions. Often we think they're removed from this issue. But I'm here, no one is exempt from this business. No country is exempt from this business. And so as we move forward and think, what is it that law enforcement, financial institutions can do? And I realized today that it's a huge conversation, right? In the past, the banks and others were not always included or at the table. And in fact, when I was working in 2011, I got appointed as the UN Special Advisor to fight the global initiative of human trafficking. And through that program, I did many UN General Assembly speeches. I asked for the world to stand up with me and others. And I asked one specific day for a World Day Against Trafficking in Persons. And I'm very happy that the UN and the countries approved that. And now every year on July 30th, we have the opportunity to come and make a difference. So I encourage you to start thinking, what is it that your financial institutions or your law enforcement or, whether it's just a compliance division in your bank, however it may be, or as a nonprofit raising the issue, whatever it is, I ask you to be able to join us in this movement in standing up for children around the world. So through my work, I realized this is such an industry that it is really hard to work on. But I know we needed to create solutions. So I created the Freedom Seal. I wanted to make a change in the world. And I created the Freedom Seal, and as a CEO, we are a technology and software company that provides technology tools to combat this crime. As we work towards this whole thing, we want to make sure you are equipped with the right resources to be able to do your job better. But really, it's difficult to identify human trafficking. I know others probably on the panel and other speakers will speak about the typologies. But absolutely, there are typologies within the financial institutions. And what is it that we look for? And I know that is a great resource that ATII and others has. And so I was able to put some of the typologies that I run into within our software where we can help to detect modern day slavery. And so you ask, so what is it that we do with the software? Once you can log in and then you can see where human trafficking takes place. Again, ATII has incredible heat map and different tools to be able to help you in this process. So really my goal is to really bridge technology and science, because I'll talk about what the Freedom Seal certification is, but bringing that together but really for humanity. There is a cost to this crime. And for me, it was the cost of my life as a 7-year-old little girl and then growing up, right? The damages and the challenges that I had because of this crime. And so I wanted to make sure we provide the best tools and resources to fight against these criminals, right? Human trafficking, the traffickers are very well networked in their criminal activity. So we as advocates, for those who want to stand up for this issue, we also need to join together in the most advanced areas. And I believe that technology, we have to be able to use the advanced tools to be able to fight this crime. So again, we are a company with a risk management software, a company providing digital suites of, and Compliance Desktop. Compliance Desktop provides you several products within that and the partnerships that come into that to be able to give you a practical tools, something that you can use every day. And then Freedom Seal, it's a global mark of trust awarded to companies, to financial institutions that do the right thing, to those who take action and can evidence what they have done. And again, it's not something we're to stop human trafficking overnight. It is a journey. But I want to invite you today to join me in this journey. When it is difficult, when it is challenging, we got to be able to reach out for help and work with those partners. Again, I know ATII is bringing together many partners and giving those opportunities. So that's what the goal is. And it's when I created the Freedom Seal, I knew that we needed a due diligence system. Due diligence, meaning what is it specifically we can look for? And some of you may be compliance officers. Some of you may be a correspondent banking and other roles that you play. But everybody can make a difference. And everybody can be part of this movement. So we also provide a software as a service tool. And really that's what it is. And it just helps to be able to ask the right questions, right? A third-party questionnaire. That is what we provide through the certification framework. So we talk about why the financial and the global, how is it affected, right? How's the global community of financial institutions affected on this crime? And we say financial crime, which includes modern-day slavery, right? We have a lot of different terminologies and things that haven't all agreed upon the definitions of human trafficking and what that is. But in general, we do know, no matter what, it's a crime. You see, I'm more than a statistic. I am the face of rescue, and I am the face of this issue that, to show the world that it could be anybody, right? I'm a mother, and then parents who have the children who may have been taken from them or have gone missing, right? This issue is not specific to, again, one sector, but it is in all. And so we ask, create a community within your financial institution, right? Bring in the right partners. You have many to choose from. This whole week, I'm impressed that the teams are coming together to be able to work in hours. ATII has put together a hackathon, and to how to investigate dark web. These are issues that are not easy, and yet we're being provided the tools and the teams who are really tackling this on a daily basis. And so we just want to make sure that you are fighting this crime, and then we look at regulatory, right? I remember going before the EU in 2018 or so and asking for the Human Rights Division to address this issue. That was several years ago, but today we're seeing they're just about to pass the legislation requiring companies to be able to work on the evidences, have the statements, have the basics, but I want to encourage you to have more than the basics. Go specifically and be able to have the right tools to be able to, within your systems, to be able to, again, advance this crime. So we talk about, know your customer. Human trafficking occurs a lot of times because we don't know the customers, right? The customers come, if it's a retail bank, to open up an account, but often it sometimes is a fraudulent account. It's just hiding, right? To be able to, and sometimes the traffickers use victims to open up bank accounts because they have a clean record, right? And so the traffickers are very smart in how they operate, but we got to be smarter than them, right? And so let's figure out what these tools to help us and help the industry to do better. But oftentimes you may say, know your customer. You're all familiar with that term. But really what I'm saying, let's dig deeper and let's screen your customers. And are they involved in human trafficking? Are they opening up a company or a spa and just being a front for human trafficking? So these are the questions we need to look at, and we need to look at them deeper. And then risk analysis. How do we determine where the high risks are? And thank goodness that many of these organizations are now working on the data, right? Bringing high risk data sets to be able to help give you those tools as well. So, we manage our threats. We have to be able to manage them. We got to be able to take the action. And then again, if there's something that a specific tool that you need, then ask us who are involved in this issue in fighting modern day slavery. Ask us, because it helps when we all do work together and collaborate on those solutions. So as you screen your customers, look for those red flags, look for the ways that can detect, and then more importantly, commit to this issue. I'm asking you today to commit to fighting financial crime, commit to fighting modern day slavery. And so I encourage you all listening to my voice to be able to take action, really, and to help empower victims, former victims, survivors, those who have lived the experience. Incredible voices, many of them in the movement. And now they're becoming leaders. And I encourage you to see what you can to help support the nonprofits and those who are doing the work. So in conclusion, I ask you, as you watch these others, listen to these other speakers during this week, follow the money. And when we follow the money, we can detect this crime. And so as the hackathons go on and those who are digging deeper into the dark web investigations, I thank you, first of all, for taking your time to be able to do that with ATII and others who are just joining together and saying no more, right? That's when we need to be able to stand up and say, no more, we cannot allow this to happen. We cannot allow human trafficking. We can't allow another child being separated from the mother. I have a happy ending. I was reunited with my birth mother after 21 years of being sold into slavery. Incredible story, incredible miracle. But not all of them stories are ending in happiness. But our job today, as we work together, as we go through our daily lives and work on this issue, is to see how you can become a solution. It's all within us to be able to make a difference. Every one of us have talents and strength. And I ask you as a former victim to use your talent to come and to stand up for those without a voice. So I thank you very much and just enjoy the rest of the week. And if you need to contact through me, you can do it through ATII, thefreedomseal.com, and really be able to see how can we join together and create a movement when we can be that voice for the voiceless. Thank you very much.